Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Tamer and welcome back to another episode of iTalk Tech. In this video, I'll be going over some rumors and leaks of the new and upcoming iPhone 7. Now, I know we're still a couple of months away from the iPhone 7, but it's still kind of fun to know what it's going to be like or what we think it's going to be like based on rumors and leaks from different people all around in the tech sector. Now, before I begin, I just want to let you guys know that I started a course that will teach you everything you need to know about how to code a website and code games online. It's really fun and it's really intuitive and it's all from scratch, so you don't need to know how to code anything when you start the course. So go ahead and check it out. The links will be in the description, and without further ado, let's get this video started with. So the iPhone 7 is the successor to the iPhone 6s. Now, since this is a number upgrade rather than an S-line upgrade, we're going to be seeing some pretty big changes coming out of Apple with the new iPhone 7. Now, I broke this rumors and leaks video down into a couple categories, and the first one's going to be called build. Now, the iPhone 7 is going to see a massive design change. How massive, we're not clear yet. There's many rumors and leaks coming out with different designs of the iPhone 7. And usually toward the end, near June or July, we start to get actual photos of what it's going to actually really look like from different leaks and rumors. But as of right now, it's all just guesses as what it's going to look like, and maybe some leaks coming from Apple's prototype centers and things like Foxconn. So as of right now, there's just a bunch of images going around that may or may not be the actual iPhone 7 that's going to be released. Now, in terms of the build quality, we know Apple likes to use metal, but this time it's going to be a little bit different. Apple may ditch metal. Something that's pretty crazy to think about, as Apple's been known for using metal and aluminum specifically in their iPhones since the iPhone 5. I mean, that's what made Apple look so great, is because it had a beautiful design based on metal and aluminum, and many designers such as like the Nexus devices went to metal because it looked so dang nice. Now, Apple may be ditching metal for a reason. First of all, they may want to make the iPhone 7 waterproof and dustproof. Now, with the iPhone 6s, many tests were performed, and it was actually kind of weird that the iPhone 6s kind of performed really good underwater. It survived for a couple of minutes and there was no damage. This gives us a couple of hints that Apple may be looking toward waterproofing and dustproofing their phone for the iPhone 7. And now rumors and leaks came out suggesting that Apple's gonna maybe ditch metal and go with a different type of material called liquid metal in order to make it waterproof, as well as removing the antenna lines there. Now, is this good or bad? Well, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really judge, but I'm kind of shocked that Apple would move away from a nice looking metal. I just hope they don't go with a plasticky feel. I hope it still feels premium enough for it to feel like an iPhone usually does. Now, another thing with their build is that the iPhone 7 may ditch the 3.5mm headphone jack. Yes, we're all crying. It's like Johnny Ive and the CEO of Apple went into a meeting together and they're like, hey, how do we screw with our customers even more but still expect them to buy the iPhone? Well, let's just take out another port and then we'll create an adapter for it. So that's essentially what may happen, and it's pretty almost confirmed that it may happen, that Apple is going to remove the 3.5mm headphone jack and only allow Bluetooth headsets or being able to plug in a lightning cabled headphone. Now, I don't think anybody in the world has a pair of lightning cable headphones, and the switch is going to be really awkward because you're going to have to need an adapter to go from lightning to 3.5mm headphone jack. It's going to be really hard, especially if the adapter costs like what other Apple's adapters cost, like, which is around the $50 to $60 ballpark. I mean, you have to pay $50 to $60 extra in order to listen to a $5 pair of headphones or a $10 pair of headphones or even a $100 pair of headphones. You have to now pay $150 to listen to those same things. Now, I understand the trend. Bluetooth is expanding and more technology is being created that Bluetooth headsets are going to be in now. But still, there's so many millions of headphones that aren't on Bluetooth. I mean, my current existing headphones aren't even Bluetooth. They're wired up through 3.5mm headphone jack, and they're pretty good headphones. I don't want to throw those away or buy another adapter for me to fit those in. So it's pretty crazy what kind of things Apple may be doing to their iPhone 7, and I'm not sure that they're thinking about the consumer rather maybe than making it easier for them to make phones thinner. Now, one of the many reasons why Apple may be ditching the 3.5mm headphone jack is to make the iPhone 7 thinner and slimmer. I'm not sure why they would want to do that, as many of their customers are screaming at them and shouting at them through reviews and stuff like that, that they want a bigger iPhone. They don't care thickness. They don't care about thickness as long as it's not like this thick. They want bigger battery life. They don't want thinness, because thinness means less battery life, and you're going to have to be constantly recharging. Now, the iPhone 7 is set to look like it's going to get thinner to about 6.5 millimeters, which is significantly lower than the current 7.1 millimeters design. Now, for me, I don't really like the way this trend is going, that we're going thinner and thinner and thinner, but as a result, our battery life is going down, down, down. This means I'm going to have access to a wall port or a car charger, which in some situations isn't very accessible. So overall, in terms of the build, I'm kind of mixed about it. I'm not sure where Apple is going with this. They're ditching metal. They're ditching the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. They're making it thinner, which thinner is a great accomplishment of engineering, but is it really that great in terms of usability and what customers want? Well, we'll have to see when the iPhone 7 comes out. So as for build, I'm a little iffy. Now moving on to the display of the iPhone 7. Now the current iPhone 6s has an LCD display, which by far it looks really nice. I mean, it's really crisp and it's clear and a nice color accuracy, but Apple may be moving to a new type of display technology called OLED. Now this will mean Apple's display will be thinner than it currently is on the iPhone 6s, which is another reason why Apple may be ditching the 3.5, is to make it even thinner, because that's all we want. But some of the good things about OLED is that it's going to be thinner and it's going to be nicer quality of a display. It's going to be a lot crispier, it's going to be a lot brighter, and overall it's a great display. Way better than LCD, which is a little bit of an old technology right now. OLED's new and it's in, and it's really good. So as for display, 2 thumbs up. Now in terms of resolution, the iPhone 6s has a pretty sad resolution in terms of today's smartphones. It's a 1334 by 768, which if you can believe it, it's close to 720p. I'm not sure when the last time I saw a 720p display was. Like, that was a long time ago. So yeah, Apple is currently using a 1334 by 768 display and may be looking to upgrade the displays to a higher resolution. So the iPhone 7 may have a 1920 by 1080 display, which would be full HD, and they might upgrade their iPhone 7 Plus into a resolution of 2560 by 1440, putting it on the same level as the Galaxy Note 5 and many other flagship smartphones like the Nexus 6P. Another thing with the displays, we're almost certain we're going to see 3D touch on there. We may even see multiple types of 3D touch, where it will allow you to better analyze how deep of a pressure you're using, or allow for multiple fingers to detect how much pressure you're exerting. Now we also may see a quote-unquote fingerprint on the display, so that means you're going to be able to access your phone just by having your finger on the display rather than using the Touch ID button. Now while this may seem a little bit reaching far, Apple has known to surprise us, but we know one thing: Apple doesn't put things on their phones if they don't know it's not perfect. Once it's perfect, they put it in. Anything other than that, they don't use it. So they may be prototyping, maybe leaks and rumors are pointing to where they're prototyping a display like that, but we're not so sure it may arrive with the iPhone 7, so we'll just have to wait to find out. Now in terms of performance, the iPhones usually receive a pretty heavy upgrade in terms of performance with every model, whether it's 6, 6S, and now moving on to the 7, we may see a pretty good increase of performance. Now we know Apple's going to be using their own A10 processor in there. It's going to be manufactured by TSMC, which is producing some of the processors for the iPhone 6s, which is good because there was a sort of an issue between TSMC made processors and Samsung made processors. So as long as they're keeping it one manufacturer, it won't make that big of a difference or another gate type of thing. So yeah, there's going to be manufactured by TSMC, and it's overall going to be a pretty good processor. I mean, it's going to be a hexa-core processor from recent leaks and rumors, which is going to be pretty crazy to think about. So a hexa-core processor, Apple A10, and we're also going to see an upgrade in terms of RAM. Now, it was a big step for Apple to go from 1GB of RAM to 2GB of RAM in the iPhone 6s. Now we're going to see another big upgrade. Apple's going to be jumping from 2GB to 3GB, which is pretty impressive, as the iPhone 6s was already pretty impressive in multitasking, and now with this increase in RAM, we're going to see a lot better multitasking performance. Now, as of all combined performance, we're going to see better results. It's going to be a much more fluid, responsive device, and it's going to just destroy gaming out of there. So overall, really looking forward to the performance of the phone. It's definitely going to be put into the top of the charts as the probably one of the most performing or best performing smartphones on the market. Now the battery. Now the battery, as you can see, I'm very kind of pessimistic about Apple's trend of battery. Now Apple with the 6 and the 6S have been kind of flatline with battery. It's been about the same battery life. The 6S Plus and the 6 Plus always had better battery life. That's because it was a bigger body and it could fit more battery. But it was those iPhone 6 users and iPhone 6S users that really got caught up because they had the smaller device and they had a smaller battery. And mostly when I used the iPhone 6S, I could barely last a day, if not even last a day, because it just kept draining out that quick. So in terms of battery, we see Apple trending to go to a thinner device, and I can only assume that a thinner device means a smaller battery, meaning battery life may take a hurt. Now, especially if Apple's thinking about upgrading their resolution, it also may take another hit. And how efficient Apple's A10 processor is and how efficient iOS 10, which is the software that's the iPhone 7 may run on, it's going to all depend on how it'll handle that. Now, with a thinner body, I'm pretty pessimistic as to how much battery Apple can save on here. But still, we have to look forward. We have no confirmations of what battery life is going to look like. But overall, I'm not feeling too happy about what the battery life is going to be on the 6, on the 7, and the 7 Plus. So the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 7 Plus are going to be set to release on September of 2016. Usually they get announced in the beginning of September, usually in September 9th, and then it's going to be available to purchase somewhere around September 21st, or it's usually a Friday of that day. Pre-orders will start usually a week before. They'll give you enough chance to pre-order online if you can get the site to load on your computer. Now, starting off, the iPhone is going to be priced around the same way as it is right now, $649 for the base model 7, and then $749 for the base model 7 Plus. Now, we may see Apple ditching 16 gigabytes finally and letting users start off with either 32 gigabytes or 64 gigabytes, depending on which they choose. Most likely, it's going to be 32 gigabytes. Now, this is going to be a great upgrade as many of us couldn't handle 16 gigabytes. I know I couldn't handle 16 gigabytes, and I was always running out of memory just like that, because with all the apps and stuff like that, it gets caught up and you waste a lot of memory, and all of a sudden you get the little warning saying you're out of storage. So it's really good on Apple that they're bumping up their base storage to 32 gigabytes or whatever it is, and now giving users a lot more freedom, and instead of charging people $100 extra in order to go up to 32 gigabyte. So it's a really good thing. And overall, this iPhone 7 is shaping up to be a pretty good phone, other than some minor setbacks that I think is going to cause a little bit of disruption in the tech community, especially myself and maybe one of you guys. So leave a comment down below. What do you think about the iPhone 7? Some of the favorite rumors you've heard about the iPhone 7, and some of the things that you really don't like about the iPhone 7 and why that is. So just go ahead and drop a comment, and while you're there, drop a like on this video, because it took a lot of time gathering up all this research and information and giving out to you guys in this quality. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, and comment, and see you guys in the next one. Peace.